Such a nasty day, though, to be loading on a float.
They might be in the warehouse
What was the deal that someone got ran over in the crew of Nick's
last night.
last night? What happened?
Float number 12. It was a tandem float
Yeah.
that was, had a hitch in between, and a woman tried to jump over it and
Oh, you got to be kidding.
go across the street, and she tripped and fell.
What is wrong with people?
Yeah.
I mean that's user error.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it is Mardi Gras season, and people tend to lose their marbles. It's beyond me why someone would think that was a good idea. But the toxicology reports haven't come out yet, right?
I don't think her name's
Boy, that just sucks. That's why we can't have nice things. Yeah, that's right. That's why. Well, we're up. All right, let's do this. Welcome in, everybody. Gun Talk Live, and as you can see, I'm all alone. Mr. Ryan Gresham is out. He is actually down in New Orleans. He's loading up. He rides in a parade every year. It's the crew of Toth, right?
Sunday.
So he's riding Sunday. So you know what we need to do is we need to have him go live from the float,
That'd be interesting.
the Gun Talk float. If you haven't experienced Mardi Gras, there are many ways to do it, but you can do it both. Don't go down to Bourbon Street. That's just horrible. Go to a nice, quiet neighborhood. They'll roll down the street. You'll catch a bunch of stuff. But, drugs and alcohol. Stephen Mayberry has signed in, and he is our first entrance into the Gun Talk giveaway, which we are going to do for a week on this video. What you are able to win this week is a Tyrant Designs. Let me see if I can get this box open and show you guys. It's a Tyrant Designs aluminum Mod Series AR-15 pistol grip. Installs just like any other pistol grip, but what we say, like $104, $105 for this pistol grip for your AR. I know Steven actually has an AR that he's getting ready, and it's a quad rail because I sent him some covers. But really nice design. If you guys don't know who Tyrant Designs are, you guys need to go check them out. I'll be getting into them a little bit later. But really cool stuff from those guys. They're slowly putting out some really innovative stuff. But we'll put that to the side, and we'll get to our winner. And to show you how truly unbiased these giveaways are, our winner was Darren Ray, right? All right, so Darren Ray, this is actually kind of funny. So his comment was, "No soldier actually fights for freedom of American rights. That is propaganda to get as many young men to throw themselves into bullets for the elitist interest." I think that is bullshit. There are plenty of great Americans out there who are willing to die for your freedoms. You have your opinion, that's fine. Darren, congratulations, you won a Surefire Stiletto. You have 1 week to claim it. If not, I'm sure there are plenty good Americans out there that would enjoy this. So, this week's giveaway, Tyrant Designs, Mod Series AR-15 pistol grip. All you got to do is enter. We're not asking you to share the video or anything like that, but if you want to, please go ahead and do that. I am slowly monitoring comments. I'm all by myself. Maybe Jace behind the camera could help me out a little bit, but I'm not counting on it. Anyway, it's a family affair. Stephen and Candace are on watching the videos separate, so they're doubling their chances to win the Tyrant Designs AR-15 pistol grip. So, all good ideas come from, a thought process like, what we ought to do? Well, I had that thought on updating my everyday carry gun. And believe it or not, I've decided I'm going to Gucci-fy my Glock. It's a Glock 19 Gen 5. Surprisingly, there's not a whole lot there's increasingly gaining more and more traction for the Gen 5s. It seems like In our world, Gen 3s and Gen 4s are the primary, Glocks to modify. But I've decided to modify my Gen 5, and I'm going to walk you a little bit through about what I've done so far. It's still not done. I will tell you what I've got left on it. But first starts out with the tools. Real Avid, I've been using their roll pin punch set. Helped out immensely on this build and their little gun block. But I quickly found out when going through this that it may not be the best to upgrade your EDC gun. It's easy, but there's a lot that can go wrong, and it's your everyday carry. So Glock has made their reputation on Glock perfection. That tagline rings true throughout their entire lineup. And why mess with perfection? Well, because as guys, gals, we can't help ourselves. We've got to go with custom. And if you guys actually have a gunsmithing story that you tried to do it yourself, please share it in the comments. I'll read as many of those as I can find. Man, you guys are coming up with some good ones. Steven, the goal is to win enough parts to build a new AR. Well, you're getting close, man. I know you're getting close. But no, so I started out and I thought I would just stipple my Glock. And that in itself is probably a lot of work for a lot of, it's probably more work than I probably need to do. And we're rolling over some pictures of me kind of in the process of doing that. But I used a Dremel 4000. There's a link to it in the bottom. And that I used the rough grindstone to get the previous texture off the Glock. And at that point, I kind of wiped it down and got all the residue off the Glock. And then I made an outline, which if I was to do it all over again, I wouldn't make an outline. And then I went in with the fine point on this, I don't know, it's a Beka soldering iron. It's kind of a, I don't know, it's Chinese, I think. But $39 for a soldering iron, variable degrees of temperature. So for a soldering iron, $39, you get like 4, tips for it, which actually ended up working out pretty good. The only caution I would tell you guys, go with a cordless soldering iron because the cord tended to get in the way. If you guys are looking at that. Yes, Dremel 4000 sounds like a Hollywood spaceship name. It does. Like that's pretty funny. But anyway, so I went with a fine point soldering tip and kind of just did a random dot. And my idea was to do a random big dot on this whole thing. Uh-oh, what do we got going? Okay, I'm good. All right, he said I'm good. So I was just going to fill in the spaces with the bigger dot. And like immediately off the bat, I realized that the dot was actually too big to fill in. It just melted into the little dots. So if you guys can kind of look in here, I'll kind of show you what I'm talking about. Yeah, you can see some of the little dots. It's a really super aggressive texture, which is nice when you're looking at grip. But one thing that I'll get into a little bit later is why you may not want to go so aggressive, at least on the sides. And it was something that didn't cross my mind, but someone who carries a gun for a living basically stripped this gun apart right in front of my eyes after I was done with it. But going through the gun, I'll give you guys a look. I replaced it with, from a Glock store, I replaced it with a heavier tungsten guide rod to add a little bit more weight to the front. The gun is clear, so if I point the gun towards you guys, don't worry about it. But man, that's another one of those points where I have to explain myself. Then I just went with a extended slide release kit here, extended controls, Apex Tactical trigger. I've always loved the Apex Tactical. There's a link to them in the bottom, but man, I keep going back in my mind, like, did I ruin this Glock? Like, did I ruin it? Like, but I don't think I did in some aspects, but I think in a few others, I think it's a big problem for me, and a big problem for me to carry this gun right now. But Tyrant Designs backplate, which is really nice. One of my favorite things about this gun right now is the Tyrant Designs mag release extension. That one was the most difficult one to put in right here. That's actually really difficult to put in. Would be rough on your skin if you IWB, and I do, Rich. I do. I carry inside the waistband appendix, so that is a giant problem, which I didn't think about beforehand before I started this stipple job. I ran over it with some fine sandpaper to knock off a lot of the rough edges, but you know, for the past week, I've just been in my office, going into my grip, getting it out, and seeing how it feels. You're more risky than I am, would be afraid I would mess up my pistol. And I kind of did, and here's why I did. I've got Ameriglow sights on there. I love those. Would keep those. The trigger, I love Apex. I haven't shot this gun yet. That's why I'm not carrying it right now. I want to take it out to the range, run 500, 1,000 rounds through it, and go from there, and see what I need to get rid of, what I don't. But, so I took it to Greg Lappin. If you guys know Greg Lappin, he is on our, FPD series. He's on our branded content. He's all over the Gun Talk pages. He took one look at this, and he goes, this is verbatim what he says. He goes, "Who makes that?" Talking about the guide rod. And I said, "It's a tungsten." He goes, "I know it's tungsten." He says, "Get rid of it." Then he goes to my extended slide release. He goes, "Get rid of that, go back to the factory." He says, Apex Tactical. Get rid of that, go back to the factory trigger. Then he says, the grip texture. He goes, "I love the grip texture." He goes, "Really aggressive." He goes, "But you're going to tear up your skin and your shirts when you AIWB." So those are the things that Greg Lappin says to replace and to go back to factory. Oh, so did I ruin my Glock? A little bit of me says I kind of did. So the plan is to go out and shoot it as it sits right now, and to go from there. I'm going to have to make some modifications to the grip. I also did I dremeled out an undercut here. You guys can see it's a little bit deeper. I can already tell that I am going to have to notch this out a little bit more, just how my grip rides right there. If you can see that, it kind of catches right there. I stippled the bottom of the trigger guard, and if you're going to do that, I'd suggest starting forward of your trigger, because honestly, it bites the hell out of your finger if you miss. So watch that. Honestly, I like the extended controls. I think you will too. Man, it's tough. Jace, give me some thoughts on this, because did I ruin this Glock?
Not yet.
Not yet. Okay, what can I improve on this? Like, if you're looking at it, what do I need to improve?
Sand down the stippling and start again, or sand it down until it's a little smooth but still grippy. Get rid of sand off the stippling off the bottom of the trigger.
Yeah.
And work on the undercut a little bit.
I think, and yeah.
And put a red dot on it.
Yeah, see, Sven says start over with an 80% Glock grip. That's a good idea. That's a really good idea.
I don't think it's at that point yet. I think it's.
You don't think it's at that point?
I think you could salvage it.
All right. Well, the magazine. Glad you guys asked. So here's the, standard mag. So standard mag, 15+1, Glock 19. But, so this is in the gun. And then what I throw in my pocket, which I've actually really loved, is the Tyrant Designs mag extension. And it adds 4. So now you've got 19+1 in the chamber. But I've really liked that. It adds a little bit bigger grip. It extends it, so it extends higher in your pocket, which I really like, because it's easier to grab if I'm just carrying it in my pocket. But that's a good question. I really have enjoyed that. And I think they're 30 to $39, something like that. But See, Panhead, you might have overdone it. However, I've been debating getting the Robar treatment on one of my Glocks. And see, and this is not done. I don't want to finish here, because if you're going to really, it's called a Gucci Glock, right? And there's nothing fancy on this. There really isn't. I've added a Zev Pro Magwell, which was really easy to install. See, bits of my shirt are already coming off in here. I can already see it. But I have purchased a Zev slide and barrel. So we're going to add those two components onto it, and they are cut for an RMR. So this will be a tricked out Glock. I mean, almost everything has been replaced on it, but man, it's so hard not to mess with stuff. Like, that's one of the biggest things that I have a problem with, is not just letting it be. I might have overdone it. I don't know. With SIG P320, you can easily swap out the plastic grip and not worry about ruining the serialized part of the gun. That's a good point. I mean, it's valid. So Gucci, Nick Collier, thank you. It is so Gucci. Chad Winkler, he probably spends more time on the range than any of us. And he sees, and Greg Lappin brought up the same thing. He says, I see guys bringing in all these Glocks, all these Gucci Glocks that they've tailored, to their fit and their liking, and they're getting more problems with them. And I'm slowly realizing this, that there's a reason why these companies test and evaluate all these guns, and they come out with a gun, and when they launch it, it's ready to go as is. Find that one that fits your hand, you're good to go. So I'll keep you guys posted on this. If you guys got any questions about the gear we've used, there's some links in the bottom. Check those out. But I'm not, ask Jace and Michael. Jace and Michael, how shaky was I when I first started to stipple that Glock?
He could have made butter out of milk.
Seriously, I was shaking so bad, because I was like, oh my gosh, what have I got myself into? Because I'm not a gunsmith, but I'm willing to try. But I'm very worried that might have ruined that Glock. All right, we're gonna move on from that and talk just some housekeeping here. Again, thank you guys for tuning in. You guys are automatically, if you have commented, to win the Tyrant Designs Mod Series AR-15 pistol grip. So
David on YouTube says he doesn't own an AR, so if he does happen to win the pistol grip for the AR, can we attach a rifle to it for him?
yeah. Hey, I'm not going to say yes, but we'll send you something really good. You just got to, hey, that's another thing. If you guys check back in next week, just check back in, and I'll usually leave a comment in, or I try to reach out to you guys to notify you that you won. You have a week to claim your prize. If not, it goes back into the bin like this Surefire. Hopefully Darren doesn't reach out to us and get it, so you guys have another chance. But housekeeping, 20 and 20. This is really, Tom Gresham created this campaign to get all of us active in some form or fashion. And he wrote a piece in this week's newsletter about surprises in Virginia, and surprises at last night's debate, and his surprise new gun, which happens to be the Mossberg MC2C, right? Yeah, the new Glock, or the new Mossberg. But the 20 and 20 campaign, it's a big deal. And we're showing it, I think, pay off. These guys behind the scenes can back me up, where in Virginia, that bill has been shelved. It's been shelved for a year. That fight is not over. I feel like they're regrouping. They're getting their ducks in a row. So the fight's not over. So just because we've defeated one doesn't mean we're going to have to defeat one. Arizona in a big fight. And I think that's a template for everyone going forward. The Democratic Party is looking to take your guns. If you're not serious about this, it's time to start getting serious. But 20 and 20. Find a buddy. Go read the newsletter this week. Tom's piece went out. It's a great piece. It's launching at 2:30 today. It's already up on our website, so go check it out. But anyway, where's Ryan? Still makeup chair playing with his hair. He is in the makeup chair. If I was giving a comment or an award for the best comment, that might get it. He's in the, hey, Ryan, enough with hair, okay? Enough. It's good. No, he spends at least 20 minutes, maybe more. But, yep. Ah, see, Arizona, they got their bill shelved. Thank you, Stephen, for that update.
Stay in the fight, though.
Yeah, stay in the fight. Yeah, see, Richard's waiting for Tennessee to have some kind of rally. Oh, man. Oh, Dynamic Movies. I want to see your Gucci Glock. Hey, send us KJ@guntalk.com. Send me a picture of your Gucci Glock, and we will feature it on the Instagram page of Gun Talk. How about that? And if we feature your picture, you'll get a prize. Let's do that. Does that sound good?
Yeah.
That's good, right? All right. You guys hold me to that?
T-shirt or
Yeah, something. We'll get you something.
pair of socks.
Jason, I can't hear you shaking your head.
He's shaking it, yes. So, but anyway, guys, man. Oh, hey, anybody in Pennsylvania, they're having a gun rally June 8th. So anytime you guys can, go look at that. But anyway, you guys stay vigilant and please stay in tune with what your state's doing in regards to your Second Amendment rights. This is important. But anyway, you guys sign in, ring that bell, share, comment, blow it up, man. Let's make this thing go. It starts with you guys and us. So we're the first line and we need to push forward. So thank you guys for joining in and we'll see you next week.
Happy Mardi Gras.
Oh, happy Mardi Gras.
Thanks for watching Gun Talk Live. For more great gun content, subscribe to our YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter pages. You can always watch the Gun Talk channels on Roku, Apple TV, and Amazon. And of course, you can always find us at guntalk.com. Thanks for watching.